The NFL has been insisting on 2 preseason games, one home, one away for every team, so they can go through the motions of the game day pandemic protocols. The players have been saying, Chris, no preseason games. They want to have the full opportunity of training camp to get in game shape. They don't want guys to be prematurely in a game setting, and they see no upside from playing these preseason games. It's opportunities for an outbreak. The revenue's not there. Why are we doing it? That's been the union's position. I was told last week that very likely the end result will be one preseason game featuring teams that are in some geographic proximity. Giants, Jets in the same stadium, Chargers, Rams, for example. When you start looking around the league, though, you're still going to have a team that's going to have to get on an airplane and go somewhere. But the idea is to minimize the travel and to have that one game. According to NFL media, that's officially been proposed to the union. One game in the preseason. The NFL has moved off of 2. The NFL moved from 4 to 2 beyond any negotiations. And now as these negotiations continue, the NFL has moved from 2 to 1. The union still wants none, Chris. So I don't know where this ends up. And I don't know how I feel about even one preseason game. I understand the importance of making sure that everything is going to work right in a setting where the game doesn't count and having everyone feel what it's going to be like on game day with these new procedures. But, I understand where the players are coming from, too. You want to make sure that you are keeping your players ready, getting them ready, keeping them healthy, and keeping them out of an unnecessary opportunity to potentially be exposed to the virus.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get it. I get the NFL wanting to have the preseason game just to go through the procedure a little bit and do that. But to me, the risk ain't worth the biscuit here. To me, I just again, I know that's probably how they want to do, see how they can map it out, make it better, whatever it may be. Okay, cool. Listen, it's not going to be that much different than when the teams check into their facilities on a daily basis for training camp or whatever it may be, except you're going to have 2 of those, medical teams in a stadium. So, but to me, the big thing is why risk it? Why? Don't do it. It's just not worth it at this point. To me, as a player and even as a fan, I'm not even trying to say it. I'd love to sit there and watch preseason football, but I don't want preseason football if it's going to sacrifice me seeing regular season football. And in just this year, with what we got, again, this is where if I'm like ahead of the NFLPA right now or one of the player reps, I'm pushing back for the season to be pushed back a little bit. I really am. Because I think you're going to need more time to get players ready to play football this year than ever before. And that preseason game's not going to make everybody ready. It's not going to be like the magic pill and like everyone's going to get done and go, oh, we're ready to go. No, it's really going to make not a big difference that way. So to me, the more important thing would be let's get back into the training facilities. Let's take 2 weeks of just training, lifting weights, conditioning, running every day. Then another 2 or 3 weeks of OTAs, basically. Helmets, practice, running around, no contact. Then you get into the contact aspect. And now you go, okay, we're going to put shoulder pads and start doing some full pad periods and things like that, which need to get hashed out too, because that's an area where the veteran players right now don't want to do 11 on 11. And that's not going to help. At some point, we're going to have to play 11 on 11. I would just rather see the teams do it themselves. Have scrimmages, have full contact scrimmages, but let's limit the amount of people here as long as we can to save the bigger picture, which is the season for the NFL in 2020.
I'm telling you what, though. I can't envision a situation where the NFL voluntarily bumps back the start of the season.
I know.
I think that when you consider what's happening with the pandemic, the NFL is even more determined to get to week 1 and see what happens. Because if you start delaying, things may get worse. We get into cold and flu season. I think they want to get these games in. They want to get their procedures honed, and they want to see if they can indeed minimize outbreaks on a given team. And there's a lot of factors. There's a ton of moving parts. And I don't even think the NFL at this point is trying to convince anyone that the approach is anything other than let's see what happens. But there is a strong let's see what happens element to what's happening now in the NFL. And I think one thing the NFL wants to have happen is they want to start September 10 with that first game, Chiefs-Texans. Full slate of games. 3 days later on September 13. And then the way the schedule was constructed,
the
way it was built, Week 2 can be easily absorbed later into the season because every game from week 2 features 2 teams who have their bye the same week. They can wipe out week 2 and regroup. Week 3, week 4, no divisional games. Those can be canceled or they can be tacked on to the end of the schedule if they decide to move things back. But I think they're determined to get through week 1 and then reassess, see how it's working. And if it works, keep going. If they need some time, they have the benefit of time.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.